What do you say when you see yourself in the mirror? When it's just you, when you're all alone, it's just you see yourself in the mirror, what do you say? When you face adversity and you tell yourself it's too difficult, you lose self-confidence.
For me, confidence comes down to two things.
Want a sword? Get a mentor. Hey, this is Nina Carmichael. This channel is created to help you overcome the #1 challenges that is holding you back. A lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know that there is something greater inside you as well. You have Michael Jordan level talent at something. So today let's learn from one of the best, Evan Carmichael, and how to develop a lasting confidence. Mentor me, Evan. Okay, let's kick it off with rule #1. Love yourself first.
What do you say when you see yourself in the mirror? When it's just you, when you're all alone, it's just you see yourself in the mirror, what do you say? Do you say great things or do you beat yourself up? Most people, they might act confident and seem like they have it all put together, but secretly they're fighting their own battles, and at home, in private, the comfort of their own home, they're their own worst enemies. The secret is to be your own biggest critic as well as your biggest fan. The push you give yourself has to be from a place of love and potential, not lack and despair. So I recently posted on Instagram a little cartoon of me passing by a mirror, and you see my reflection in the mirror, and the caption says, "I love you." And then I challenge people to say, hey, what do you say to yourself when you look in the mirror? And giving them an 18-day challenge to say, every time you see a reflection of yourself, to say something positive, whether it's "I love you" or give yourself a compliment, something positive, because I think most people live in the land of negativity. All we see is all the negative things that we're doing and all the things that didn't work out and things that could have been better. And that can actually be very healthy. I think you need to be your own biggest critic. I think you need to have higher standards for yourself than what you're currently doing. But it only works, being your own biggest critic only works when it's based off a foundation of love. When it's based off a foundation of I am an amazing human being and I love myself and I suck at all of these skills. The problem that most people have is you see that you suck at a skill, that you didn't get the result, that you're not good on camera the first time you go out. You didn't get the result, you didn't land the sale, you didn't make the deal, you didn't get the date, whatever it is, you didn't get the result, and then you think that you suck as a human because you don't have the skills. It's the opposite. You're amazing as a human. It has to be from a foundation of love, that you love yourself and that you suck at the skills. And then you can beat yourself up over how do I get better? How do I improve? How do I acquire the skills? How do I move forward towards my goals? Step #1 is take the 18-day FlexTheX challenge. So if you want to go to evancarmichael.com/flexthex.pdf, you can get the same calendar that I use. It's not here, it's somewhere, it's in my bedroom, so where I usually keep it. And every day for the next 18 days, you challenge yourself that whenever I see myself, reflective surface, a mirror, the cell phone, whatever, I'm gonna say something positive to myself. In fact, just make that your cell phone background. And that when you see your login screen or your home screen on your cell phone background, on your desktop, it says something positive about you. And it's a reminder, I have to say something positive about myself. Just for 18 days, try it. FlexTheX challenge. Why 18 days? Because it takes at least 18 days to build a habit. Science says that it takes 18 to 254 days to build a habit. It's why I have my 254 series, because I'm there with you every step of the way. And the average is actually 66 days of consecutive action. It means no time off, no days off to build the habit. But the minimum is 18 days. So just try it for 18 days. Just try it. What's going to happen in 18 days? The worst is you're saying something you don't believe about yourself for 18. You can handle it. You'll be okay. The best case scenario is you actually start to love yourself a little bit more. And the things that you can do when you believe in yourself and you love yourself are tremendous. So step #1 is take the 18-day FlexTheX I Love You challenge.
Rule #2, act.
Self-confidence comes from doing difficult things. When you face adversity and you tell yourself it's too difficult, you lose self-confidence. When you face adversity and you push through it, you act, you go forward, you build self-confidence. Most people won't do difficult things because your identity is tied to the results. You only feel good about yourself when you win, and so you'll only do things where there's a fairly high % chance of you actually winning. And so that leads to you playing small forever and always doubting yourself. You know you're capable of more, but you're afraid to fail. The trick to playing a bigger game and building real self-confidence is feeling good about yourself when you try, not when you win. Celebrate the effort, not the results, because you likely won't get immediate results at the beginning, especially if you're doing difficult things. But if you tie your self-esteem to your effort and you keep putting in the effort, you will get results. To do the difficult things, you need to respect your effort more than winning. My biggest fear is around disappointing people. I hate the idea of letting somebody down. And so it used to prevent me from taking action because I would be so paralyzed by fear of letting that person down that I would secretly hope that they would cancel on me. I remember when I booked my trip to Brunei, I was invited to do a keynote speech in Brunei to help their young entrepreneurs there. And I agreed to it months in advance. And then as we started getting closer to it, I started having mini panic attacks, like, oh my God, it's coming up. Oh my God, why did I say yes to this? I hope they cancel. I hope they cancel. I'd be checking my email 3, 5, 8 times a day, expecting sorry, Evan, it's over. It's not happening. You know, we'll still pay you or we won't pay you. It doesn't matter, but you don't have to come anymore. It's like, yeah, you know, I'm waiting for that email and it never came. So I had to go. And that's not just for the big things. Like, okay, that makes sense. It's in Brunei, different country, never been there. It's on national TV. It's a big deal. You're getting paid a lot of money to go there. Great. It makes sense that you're scared of that. I'd be afraid even on a small micro level. I remember being afraid of meeting entrepreneurs in coffee shops. And there's one woman in particular that this really sparked a change for me. There's one woman who I agreed to meet at a coffee shop. She was pure startup mode. And I remember just before the meeting, checking my email, same thing. I'd be checking my email a couple times before, waiting for her to cancel on me, waiting for her to say, I can't make it, I'm delayed, it's not gonna work. And be like, yes, no problem, I can go off and do something else. It never came, right? She never canceled on me. And so because I was worried about letting her down, I would go to the meeting. I wouldn't cancel myself and I would not show up because that's the ultimate letting her down. So I still had to go. And it ended up being such a great conversation. And I remember sitting in the car afterwards and I'm about to come home and I just had this fantastic conversation with this beautiful person and was able to help her, was able to shift her business, was able to give her a perspective that she wasn't thinking about before, was able to inject her with belief that she was off now building a better business for herself. And I made that happen in a really short amount of time. And this was what made me feel the best. Helping people get to where they need to go is the thing that fills me up the most, more than making videos. This is the thing that fills me up the most. And I almost wish that it didn't happen. Right? Like I wish that it didn't happen. I was waiting for her to cancel on me. And I remember having this moment, sitting in the car. It's like, what am I doing? Why am I so afraid of this thing? The thing that I love doing the most is the thing that makes me the most fearful. And I almost sabotage myself. And so from that moment, I decided that I need to tie my self-worth, my actions, my confidence to the doing. That it may not work out. That chances are it's going to work out, but it may not work out. And that's okay. That I need to show up, that I need to push through, because the only way to actually then gain your self-confidence, to gain more respect for yourself, is by doing the difficult things, whether it works out or not.
Also, if you want more motivation and confidence, check out our 254 series. The link is in the description below.
The people who win work the hardest because they love what they do.
If you're doing work that you love, you're more likely to follow through. You're more likely to do it because it doesn't feel like work, because you love doing it.
Find whatever the smallest first step is, and then the smallest next step is, and continue to build those steps. And when you look back, you'll have realized that you made some pretty significant progress.
Rule number 3, have a mastermind group.
Number 3 is have a mastermind group. And the idea here is you have people around you who are pushing you to be better, who believe in you, who can see the negative self-talk in you, who have your best interests at mind, who understand what your goals are and try to, gently or sometimes not so gently push you in that direction. I've had and run mastermind groups for entrepreneurs here in Toronto for the past, 10 years or so. The reason why you're not doing the thing that you're supposed to do to help get your business where it's supposed to be is usually a limiting personal belief. And you are probably not recognizing that. And having people around you to call you on your own BS when you're giving a practical, reasonable answer, but they know that it's just BS, that really helps. And it could be a formal structure where you have people, and that's what we do, we meet every month, and there's between 6 and 8 of us, depending on the size of the group. But it could just be a friend of yours, or it could be people in your industry that you want to connect with on a regular basis. You want people around you to help push you to be that best version of yourself and give you the confidence sometimes that you need to make the tough decisions when you don't have the confidence yourself.
And rule number 4, last one before the very special bonus clip, is start small.
For me, confidence comes down to 2 things. First is having done it before. If you've done something before, then it's a lot easier to do it again. But an easy segue from that is if you have done a smaller version of it, then you have a little bit more confidence. Where a lot of people have these big goals, and because it's such a big goal, they're here and they want to get here, it looks like such a big chasm. It's such a big void that you have to cross that it's scary and you don't have a lot of confidence in yourself. But if you start here, you want to get to here, this may not be your next goal. This might be the ultimate goal, but not the next goal. Start here. Do that little step, and then do that little step, and that little step. And every time you take a little step, it gives you confidence to go off and do the next step. Because that next step isn't as big and as scary as jumping all the way to the top. And you'll eventually get here, and when you look back, it wasn't this big, scary, impossible thing because you built confidence every step along the way. The other thing that really helps me with confidence is remembering the mission and not wanting to live with regret. Anytime I'm afraid, anytime I don't feel confident, I imagine myself on my deathbed looking back on my life and thinking, am I going to regret this? This thing that I'm afraid of right now, am I going to regret this when I'm dying to say, I should have taken that opportunity. I shouldn't have been afraid. I should have gone for it. And remembering that, giving that kind of context and perspective doesn't eliminate the fear, just helps it be put in better perspective and gives me the confidence to just push through. It's feeling that fear and doing it anyway.
Now I have a special bonus clip on how you find your one word. But before that, it's time for the 3-point landing questions. Let's go from just watching the video to taking action. Here we go. Question number 1. What do you need to just act on today? Number 2, how will you love yourself first? And number 3, who can be in your mastermind group?
Find your one word. And it's not just timely because I actually have a book about it, but really because I feel it's one of the most important things that you can do. It's understanding what you stand for as a human being, because you will likely say no to opportunities that could support you, but you're really just afraid. Or you say yes to opportunities that don't support you, but you don't have the framework to make that right decision. When you understand what it is that you stand for, you start to raise your standards of the people that you're around, of what you will and will not accept anymore, and it just really makes a big impact on your own self-confidence. When you are saying no to something, it's not out of fear, it's out of principle. And being able to understand the difference, a lot of times when people identify what their one word is, it's happy because they have clarity, but also sad because they realize how much of things in their life are not congruent with where they should be. For you to realize the potential that you have, you need to act a certain way that is most true to you, and you'll notice how many things in your life currently, from the people you're around, to the businesses you're involved in, to the things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis, are not in line with you achieving that best version of yourself status. And when you realize what your one word is, things start to change. And so that self-awareness to understand who you are, what you stand for, and start making decisions around that makes a huge difference in your self-confidence, because when you're saying no to something, it's out of conviction, not out of fear of being judged.
If you want to know 5 pieces of life-changing advice from monks and gurus, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.